It's time for the G Fuel Key Player matchup for our winners bracket final. Matt, break it down for me, buddy.
You see Apathy on the right for Team EnVyUs. His numbers have not been pretty, but yet, none of EnVy's numbers have been pretty in the respawn game modes. They have gotten here by, stealing some respawns, winning search and destroys. eUnited, on the other hand, they have been very strong. Pristini has been, kind of like how Attach was that duo with Clayster. He's kind of filled into that role nicely. He's been good in the respawn game modes, playing at a fast pace. Very good in the search and destroy as well.
At 1.58 S&D for Pristini is the second highest of all players here at the Stage 2 playoffs. They're going to need every bit of that against EnVy, who has been very good in search thus far. That'll do it for your G Fuel Key Player matchup. It's winners bracket final time. EnVy versus eUnited. It's going to be a retaliation hardpoint to kick things off, Matt. And one thing to point out, since Clay has joined this eUnited team, they are 10-2 in hardpoint. The only hardpoint they have lost is Scorch. Unfortunately for EnVy, we're not playing Scorch in this best of 5.
Well, I think retaliation plays to eUnited's strength as a team. When you have two top-flight EnVy4 players in Clayster and Arcides, this is definitely a map draw you want to get. And EnVy, we talked a little bit about it. Not good in terms of slaying numbers, 4 respawns. They got to figure a way out to turn it around.
Think how drastically different these stats are for hardpoint. If you're eUnited, you're averaging 247 points for, 238 against. Sorry, 233. If you're EnVy, you're averaging 169 for, 198 against. Like, they have gotten bodied in multiple hardpoints, which is the reason we've seen some of their overall KDs so low. But it's been the search that's got him here. I'll tell you what, they can come in and steal this game 1. Holy hell, that'd be massive in this best of 5.
Well, I mean, speaking of the guys in the back a little bit, before this match, I was talking to him during the Optic one. It's like, if you're EnVy, you can't, I wouldn't be too disappointed to see RC's there, pick up 2, go on a 4 streak. But EnVy is not going to play this bad in terms of, you're not going to have such awful games from John, Cap, Apathy. Just consistently, like, these are very good players. You imagine they turn it around, and when they do, they're going to be a very tough team because their search and destroy is great.
Think about Stage 2 in the regular group. Remember, they started out really well on hardpoint. They were off in search. They started to pick it up in search a little bit. The respawns got them here, and now they've improved dramatically in search. It's like, it seems like whatever they try to focus on, they suddenly turn on the switch and improve. Maybe they can do that now in the respawns in this series as we are in Championship Sunday. Watching Clayster now only at 6 left in the clip. He will end up dropping to JCap. Basically a tie game right now. JCap trying to get to the hard point. One challenging him from the edge, and that's Pristini getting the better of him. And we'll keep an eye on the minimap to who can hold those left spawns. Right now, it's going to be John and EnVy that are set up.
And this is great for EnVy. They have Cathedral spawn. You see Slasher picking up players on the cut, but Apathy on a 4 streak right now. Ooh, thought he was going to get closer earning those score streaks, but 10 points left on the hill. Slasher trying to stay alive. But it's really the fights that are going to go down with number 3 and number 2. It's going to be JCap, and it's going to be Apathy. They need to win these fights. Cap wins 1 against Silly. It's a big gunfight because that's going to give EnVy Cathedral here at the beginning.
Yep, both the one-on-ones EnVy needed to win for the spawns, they are able to take. Now let's see what they can do inside a hotel. One will drop. Back to Apathy here, who's playing behind the van. 2 drop now for EnVy. A time for a collapse as the close market spawn is coming in for eUnited. They start to slow in. JCap tries to make a play, not able to do it. Is this the break you need for eUnited? Maybe not, because John's still here, buddy. Gets 2 before Arcides can finally trade him out. Back and forth we go. But EnVy comes out on top. They've still got 3 players here to hold on.
Just a teamwork from EnVy. Everybody in the right position. John picks up 2. There's still more players there to trade. It's going to be eUnited. Rotating out from Cathedral. They're going to go all the way over towards Broken. See JCap putting some shots in. Apathy able to pick that last kill up, but it has been all EnVy at the beginning of this game. And we talked about their respawn struggles. Didn't expect them to just struggle in terms of kills. Like, they weren't playing respawns the wrong way. They just were not able to pick up kills. It's like, that's a fixable problem. I mean, you come in and you shoot straight on Sunday, all that goes away.
Well, right now they are. But for eUnited, if you're able to get a full hold here at the Broken Building, you're right back in the swing of things. Clayster, you saw monitoring bridge in that lower street. Silly set up inside curb for anyone trying to push through hotel. Now you get the 4-man push coming from EnVy. You get a nice hold here, and eUnited can rack up a ton of time, but 2 kills go to John and JCap. Now they have a 3v2 where they can try to fly in. They're going to spawn out the players of eUnited. Pristini still trying to hold on, but one in the back, it's Cap. He gets 2 of the crucial kills there in the break, and EnVy is busted through.
It's a nice break there from Team EnVyUs. A lot of pressure here on John at the front of the hill. He's able to get one. He's going to be expecting more players to fly in. He's got Slasher here in support, but Arcides comes in, takes out one. It's going to be Pristini getting inside of the hill. Placer there to help him, and be Pristini now on a 3 streak. Slasher ends that. So we have no score streaks at this moment in the game. Usually on retaliation, score streaks, very important as we go over towards Bridge and Cathedral. Neither team has streaks. So if you're eUnited, it's pretty fortunate for you. You didn't give up streaks to EnVyUs. I think, second half of the game, you got to look at Placer, how he steps up and plays. You mentioned the stat, how good they've been with Placer in hardpoint, but their only losses coming on Scorch. They need him to show up in a big way.
They do, and if you're EnVy, you split through broken 30 for 30 for the most part, so you keep that lead that you built inside a Cathedral. And now you're locking down Hotel Hallway on board with JCap, who's pushing back in. He sees his teammates drop on the backside, tries to challenge, can't finish it. 2 down now for either side. John still trying to hold and make sure they can contest, but Arcides will get the better of him. 15 seconds remaining here, and eUnited looking to claw back into this one the best they can.
eUnited, we've heard them on stage be very loud throughout all of their games thus far. I mean, during groups and obviously during the playoffs. I haven't heard of anything from over there. Like, we've heard Clay get extremely loud throughout the entire weekend. Every kill, he's hyping his teammates up. You've not really heard much of that here in game number 1.
You got to imagine that's going to come at some point during this series, though, and maybe even during this game 1. If he picks up a big 2-3 piece, starts getting hyped, can certainly get the guys involved. And right now, we're being contested on Bridge. eUnited still trailing by 40 points. Placer going to fall to JCap. Back and forth we go. Arcides still up top, and Arcides gets 2 big ones before he dies as he tries to slip away. John now with 2 as well. 20 seconds remaining on Bridge. Has a Scarab to work with. Has FTL to go. He's been tagged up by a nade, though. Nearly 1 shot, just trying to play his life for the time being. United bust through, but with only 10 seconds remaining. I feel like EnVy, they've just been holding on to this, 50 to 60 point advantage throughout. United hasn't been able to get over that hump, but like you said, the energy hasn't been there. Maybe started a little bit slow. There's still a lot of gameplay left here.
Oh, without a doubt, and I think still no streaks on the side of EnVyUs. So if you're eUnited, obviously you would want this lower market hill, lower street, but it's really about pushing through to market, getting those Cathedral spawns. So you see RC, he gets inside of the hill. Just keep an eye on those red arrows. See where they go off the spawn here. See if they try and push all the way through Hotel. See if they try and push through Market. It's really about getting that next Cathedral hill. That'll be so important in this game.
They've still got a little bit of time to work with until they need to push through, but it's getting down to that crunch time. Both players that were on plat towards Hotel drop. 3 kills for EnVy. Now this is a chance to get a break. They're still spawning in Market, so they're set up to go for the next hard point. Clayster getting tagged up by everything. Finally, several nades going to connect with him and take him out. Pristini trying to follow up, though, as he hits the lower street hard point. But now this is big. If eUnited can get the rest of this, well, they're going to get the rest of the 5 seconds. If they can then push through and get a quick break here, that's where they take over the game.
They need to get it. I mean, they're not really going to make up much time. I mean, you mentioned, right, a 20-point game now. They've been holding on to this lead. EnVy, 50, 60 the entire game. One rotation.
Wow.
Just some kills right here, and it's going to give EnVyUs all that time back. So really, eUnited, they've just been playing catch-up all game long. It's just these rotations over to Cathedral have really hurt them.
That was huge by Slasher and John. They basically held off, a 2v4 there in Market as they came through. Spectacular stuff, but can they continue? 185 on the board now for EnVy. Pushed and dropped is John. Slasher still maintaining those top Market steps if they try to push through. Wrapping back to check Hotel. He gets gunned now by Clay. Can they use that to maybe be an opening? I mean, the answer is no. EnVy has completely dominated Cathedral.
Every time EnVy needs players to go clutch, locking it down, 2-on-4, they've gotten it done. I mean, yesterday, you remember against Luminosity on throwback. Oh. John just took Clay's soul.
Nice plays there from John. And remember, I mean, this is an EnVy team. I know they've been roughing the respawns this weekend, but if you go back a week ago, Hardpoint was their strong point. They only dropped it to Optic Gaming. Outside of that, they were fine when you were looking at their matches versus Epsilon, versus Cloud9. It was their best mode. It's just been completely the opposite here, but now they've cracked over 220. They could win it here at the Broken Building. I don't know how, if you're eUnited, you let them get all that time in Cathedral and then allow them to just maintain control as they can transition across bridge. John will get pushed out of the back. There's two eUnited players here, Matt, to try and come up clutch. Clay has gotten 2. There's still, what, 2 players, I believe, from EnVy inside the hard point. They're trying to push him now. You have advantage for eUnited. They're in. They got a must. I mean, they had to break. 9 points is all that's needed here for EnVy to take this game 1. And what a statement that would be to kick off this best of 5.
The way EnVy plays, though, I mean, they're so structured. They're going to rotate early. They're going to, they're not going to kind of give away a lot of this time, right? Some other teams, you'd see them make the mistakes, try and play for some hills a little bit too long. 3-piece there from Apathy. He's going to pop the reactive. He's going to get taken out by Clay.
Apathy just won the game.
Yep.
He got a 3-piece. I don't think eUnited is going to be able to get back in time. They might be able to challenge once, but with those 3 kills, completely locks down Hotel. JCap finds the final few, and EnVy takes a hard point victory to start this winner's bracket final in a game mode where they've been, what, 100-point club 3 times this weekend?
I mean, they've just shot so bad up until this point. I mean, it's really Slasher, the one who kind of gets them to this position, and the other 3 are, have some poor. I mean, JCap, I mean, his KD is pretty bad, but he's actually been very good in search for them.
He has a 1.31 in search, but overall, JCap has a 0.75, which is the lowest of all 32 players coming into this. Had a hell of a game there.
So look, I mean, you can turn it around pretty quick. Like, we've seen this team play well in respawn game modes. It's not like it's been a recurring issue. It's really just been through their first 2 games. I mean, they go up against, FaZe in round 1. It's a very tough opponent in respawns, right? And you get blown out a lot in that. Then LG. I mean, you would put those 2 teams, like, up near the top with Optic, like, in terms of firepower. So they've had some really tough matchups. I know this is a envious team. If they get, John, Apathy, Cap playing well, they're scary across all game modes.
So you think about the last series. Optic comes out. They take game 1 handily. LG really never able to get back in that series. EnVy comes out here. They get a 100-point victory. They look so strong there on Retail. And remember, Retail is the one hard point where they beat FaZe really badly. Slasher went off. That's the one hard point that they kind of looked good this weekend. The only other victory I can think of is the throwback against LG, which was like a miraculous comeback where they were outslayed by 16, 17 kills. Here, I mean, you feel good about the draw, I guess, for retaliation to start things off for EnVy. But as we head to Search, think about who you have in this series right now. You have the #1 overall KD in Search and Slasher. He has an unreal 1.91, which is disgusting. And then the #2, like I mentioned earlier, is Pristini. He has a 1.58. So the 2 top players in Search thus far this weekend going at it right now.
Yeah, now John has made an impact in Search and Destroy in some of the rounds we've seen with the sniper rifle as well. So keep your eye on that, on throwback. Maybe you see John, play on that back bust, use the sniper on the cross, maybe, on the other end, just looking over bombs. So pay attention to that. John made an impact on this map the other day, I believe, picking up a few first bloods.
And this game 1 completely shifts how I saw the series going, because the one that I guess I felt the worst for eUnited was going to be Frost Uplink, game 3, because, they have a really strong AR presence, but when you have to go to maybe a 3 ERAD meta, not necessarily a team built for that, when you talk about players like Arcides and Clayster, the 2 on your screen right now, that's one that I had chalked up as an EnVy victory. So now, when you take that first hard point, oh, man, I don't know. eUnited in a tough spot.
Yeah, could I flip the whole series on its head? I think, that game 1, EnVy coming out. But to be fair, Clint, I mean, if they just kill a little bit better, the first few days, 2 days of this, I mean, the respawn questions of EnVyUs aren't even questions.
It's spectacular, the difference between their strengths and weaknesses from a week ago this week. It's absolutely insane. To think this was a team that got top 24 at Anaheim. Not a lot of people gave them a chance in their group because it was a very difficult group. I don't think a lot of people had them finishing maybe even that high this weekend. Now they see themselves guaranteed top 3 and battling to be in a grand final.
I think it's just a testament to the professionalism of these guys in a sense where things are not going the best. There's always the opportunity to make changes and whatnot. And they end up sticking it out. They're like, look, we can't find any upgrades. We can't really make anything better of our roster. And it's like, hey, look, well, there's too much money on the line to just kind of hold grudges. Let's come out. Let's just play our game. Now, after that, we'll see what happens. And EnVy, they're kind of recapturing a lot of what they had at the end of last year.
Yep.
They were the best team in Black Ops 3 towards the end.
I think the single biggest thing is the guys believe in each other again, which I don't think was the case for quite some time. As Silly gets a kill, John's able to answer back with the sniper. 3v3 retake now for EnVy. The sniper could be crucial here if somebody overpeaks from eUnited. You see the positioning of those red arrows on the minimap. This comes down to Envy pushing out the players at blue. Slasher at least able to trade one back. Can he win a second? Not able to do it. Pristini gets the better of him. John left alone with the pistol. First round, eUnited.
Yeah, it was a nice try there by Envy. As soon as that bomb goes down, they back all the way up. You got to just kind of push, clear them out of this position. It's John here, the last one alive. Just got a pistol in his hand going up against Clay and Pristini. It's not going to work there. So it'll be eUnited taking round number 1.
eUnited get a victory here. Just slow down that early momentum from Envy. Offense now. Going to be over to Envy. They're going to be hitting the opposite site. As we take a look at the mini-map, you see a defensive stack by eUnited over towards B. And you get a free kill to Apathy. Nice first blood there.
Such a smart play by Apathy on this map, in particular. How many times have we seen eUnited? They'll send, usually it's Clay or Pristini on some kind of flank. This time it's RC picks up as he's going right through that cut, going back towards mid-map. Some nice shots there by Apathy. The bomb will go down at A.
Well, Apathy's about to get flooded. Does he get a lucky timing? He does not. Pristini able to take him out. Clayster then tacks one on with a pistol. Pristini by himself, 1 versus 2. Yeah, I would say please reload. 8 in the clip. But now can he make a play? He's been stellar in search this weekend. Spots both. Ooh, almost finishes cap. 25 seconds left. Almost finishes both players. Get both one shot. How frustrating must this be? He knows he's got to go. Wins the first. Tags the second with a bullet. 15 seconds now. He's got to go. He's got to try and make a play. Has to fly. I don't think he has time to get back. Nope. 10 seconds on the clock. May get the kill, which will be nice to move towards camo. But Slasher does his job. Uses that bust to perfection. Takes the 1v1.
It was the other day where Slasher stayed alive at the bus against Zuma for an extended period of time. Slasher just plays these 1v1s and 2v2 scenarios so well.
Where that could have been a kill towards Pristini's camo. It actually ends up being a kill towards Slasher's camo. And he had some crazy searches yesterday. He earned 2 camos, dropping double digits. He has been certainly an MVP candidate this weekend.
Well, when he's been locked in, like actually focused on the game and really dedicated, I mean, he has always been a top flight player. I mean, Slasher has been one of the more consistent players in COD over the last few years. Pristini, it'll just fly on through, take out Slasher and Apathy. His brother Arcides on the other end takes out Cap. Just like that, well, John's no longer alive as well.
Pristini, man, these first bloods and just the overall dominance he's had in search. He's trying to up that 158 KD in search. He's been so good, man. I think that's been one of my favorite stories, after the whole Clayster gunless trade. It's just been how much Pristini's been able to shine. It's been fantastic. A guy that seemed frustrated at times on Twitter where, he felt he had to play the bait role, could never have a positive KD, has really been shining.
So, let's see what Envy decides to do here on offense. In a slow play over towards that A site, but look at Clay. I believe it's Pristini, actually. He's pushed so far up. Number 2 on the mini-map. Clay will get first blood with the snipe, so it gives eUnited the advantage, but I don't believe, if we go on with Pristini, I don't believe they have any idea he's in this position.
He's got a chance.
Make a play.
Kill him back, boss. He's been spotted and just keeps shoulder peeking. John, though, hits the shot while being tagged with the E-Ride. Look how weak he was. Suddenly, this turns into EnVyUs' favor after Clay got that opening pick. 2v2. Behind one, the pistol so deadly, but now it's another 1v1. Slasher with the shots. And Slasher wins his second 1v1 of this game, too.
That shot by John was sick, though. I mean, Pristini, and how good his shot's been. You saw in the last round, tagging up both players. John just jumps right over the bus, takes his head off. Slasher finishes off the last 2 players. EnVyUs gets another round, and I have to take a look at the scoreboard here to get back into the game. But yeah, you see Slasher 6-2. Look how close he is to that camo.
Maybe another game where he's going to be earning 2 if this goes the distance. Silly. Going to be watching a mid-map, so they can't just push up over fence. Pristini trying to watch the close corner, able to tag him for a moment. No nades to work with to try and push him out. They end up giving up that plant. Both drop. Slasher with the first kill. John involved as well. 2v4 early for eUnited. Nice wall bang there. Suddenly into a 2v2. No one able to play the advantage very well. Back and forth we go. On to Clay. Clay tag. Clay gone. It's Slasher in another round-ending kill cam. God, he has been good.
Believe he's 8-3 right now. definitely has his active camo. And Clay kind of so worried about, maybe a guy coming through that mid-cut, coming on the flank, gets there a little bit too late. Both players from EnVy, guns up, ready to take him out as EnVy's trying to get a 2-0 lead here in this series. So, C-Slasher does have camo. I don't expect him to use it this early. But he did use it early the other day on Crusher. He was able to get 2. So, see, in this round where you get, no, you're definitely not seeing it in this round. It'll be Clay, the only one alive here inside a barn with the sniper in hand. Yep, he's going to drop, and I believe that's Cap there in the final kill cam. It'll be EnVy up 4-2. A lot of people, I think, when they saw this series, with how EnVy's been playing, they kind of wrote them off. But, man, I would love to just see, if you take out a lot of the blowouts and the respawns and whatnot, like, obviously, if we look back on the weekend and if they continue to play well in respawns just today, like what the difference in just overall kills is between them today and them the previous days in the weekend, because I imagine it would be huge.
Yeah. And
I think this is more indicative of how EnVyUs is going to play going forward than what we saw Friday and Saturday.
And if you're JCap, I mean, you guys are surviving an 0-5 right now from him, but Slasher with another first blood, make it 2. Slasher has completely dominated this matchup thus far, but with a 4v2 advantage, suddenly JCap by himself. What the hell has happened to EnVy? Silly and Clay going big. JCap now 1 versus 2. Getting inside of green, he just spotted one mid-map, able to win it 1 versus 1. 2 veterans, JCap, Clay, spotted in the corner, able to slip away. 40 seconds on the clock, they're gonna run into each other, and Cap clutches the 1v2 from 0 kills to 2 big ones. God, you can rely on him in any big moment, man. That was sick stuff.
We have seen him come up with so many clutch 1v2, 1v3s right there.
That round was comical, by the way.
Well, for a second, I don't know, when Clay gets him weak, I was surprised he didn't just jump in the window and challenge, that he went back towards that mid-cut, because he gave Cap such an advantage where Cap is able to go high. He can't really kind of locate him right away. Cap able to fire off some nice shots. And now, I mean, you don't, that's an awful nade. You don't really hate that you missed out on the Trinity because you didn't lose the round, you end up winning it. And now you have Camo to potentially close this out. Apathy just trying to stay alive. Too much fire there. Pristini draws first blood.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, in Apathy in that situation, his only desire was to hopefully get 1 kill. I know Pristini gets the first blood for eUnited, but a first kill for EnVy yet again Slasher. It's been the story throughout the entire game. He's quadruple positive. Pristini doing his best to get them back in this, but just like that, eUnited fall. 6-2 victory for Team EnVyUs. 2-0 advantage in your winner's bracket final. And God, I mean, think about last year. EnVy okay throughout the year. Stage 2 comes around. Who won Stage 2 last year?
EnVy. They were great towards the end of the year last year. This is a team that we obviously know they have the talent to get it done. It's just they need this EnVy to show up. This is a very scary EnVy team, because you look at a lot of others and you're like, I know sometimes they get started off slow in a hard point, or they're not very good at a certain game mode. Like when EnVy obviously is picking up kills, not how they looked the last 2 days, but when they're picking up the kills and the respawns, I mean, you know how deadly they are in search. You have, a great NV4 player in Slasher. They have everything you need to be a successful team.
Well, can they finish it now? It's going to be Frost Uplink that's going to be coming up next, and this is the map that I kind of chalked up as a victory for EnVy. Last time we saw them play this, I remember the first half was absolutely brilliant. They were stellar there, and you don't have maybe that SMG dominance from eUnited. Matt, does it end here?
Very well could. This would have been the one map coming up next. Uplink on Frost. I would have favored EnVyUs in.
All right, Uplink is up next. 3-0. Looking forward for EnVy. We'll see you after this quick break. Frost uplink coming up next. eUnited now going to have to perform the reverse sweep. And I mean, if you can secure a victory here on the uplink, you got to think it's throwback hardpoint game 4. eUnited beat Optic on that yesterday. Envy had that crazy come from behind win over LG. Game 5 would be Crusher, where eUnited, I think they beat Optic in that round 11, and Envy beat LG yesterday as well. So I think 4 and 5 kind of strong maps you could say for both, but this game 3, I think Envy, man, I think they close it out here.
Envy has been so clutch. I mean, we've talked about their struggles in the respawns, but I mean, that one that they win on throwback against LG, it was, I believe, John and Slasher like in a 2v4 on baseball, and they're able to hold it off. Cap gets 2 big kills in the middle of the map. A little bit earlier, I believe, on Bike Path.
They were down 230 to 175 at one point.
Yeah, and then, I mean, you saw it in the first map on Retail. You know, a big reason why Envy won was because of their Cathedral holds. And there was a lot of times where, you know, 2 guys would drop, Apathy, you know, Slasher pick up 2 kills each. You know, they're able to hold on. Just they have this clutch factor about them. It's not about, you know, sometimes it's not about picking up all the kills, it's just the right kills, and Envy's doing it.
You mentioned Cathedral, they outscored eUnited 98-2 on that hard point, but it is time for uplink. Can Envy close it out, or can eUnited fight back in this series? RC's and Slasher trading out a pair of kills. John now taken out as well. RC's the only man up for eUnited as the rest of his team coming off a spawn. That means drone time now for Envy as they start to move it up cliffside.
We'll see how the Envious attack progresses. And we talked a little bit about it. You know, who's going to be running these submachine guns for eUnited? It looks like right now you got Clayster and Pristini going to be running the ERADs. You got Silly with a K-bar in his hand, and you imagine RC's either using a K-bar or an ERAD as well. Well, actually, RC's going to be running the ERAD, so Silly's going to be that main AR here for eUnited. Yeah,
it's interesting to talk about, you know, the AR player kind of transitioning over to an ERAD, and right now you're seeing the guy that I was hyped to see again, because in week 4, JCap pulled out the ERAD in this map and dominated. Right now, starting out 3-2, and first point on the board for Envy as they take an early advantage. But yeah, I mean, I guess my eyes are kind of like on Clay versus Cap in this a little bit. Who's able to get the edge when they have ERADs in hand?
Well, right now, Pristini, who usually is a big player for United, getting off to an 0-4 start. Talk about how good he's been. You know, with Clay, it's like an AR SMG duo. And he's not been able to pick up anything at the start. And he's the one who applies a lot of the pressure for United. So obviously, you know, first guy in, not going to put up the greatest of numbers. So he gets taken out there. But those intro kills are so important, because then it throws the, you know, the favor in terms of players, you know, on your team's side, and you're able to just trade everything out.
And on the Envy side, Apathy just went huge, man. He was the last one up, gets 2 kills, completely locks down mid-map by himself. And this may turn into points. Shot doesn't get out, though. Clayster holds on the defensive end. John's still here, but he's got to wrap back. Try to stay alive as the rest of Envy crossing the map to catch up to him.
That's almost one where you could have waited an extra second and you would have had John there in a position to trade that out a little bit faster with Apathy. Then maybe you're able to make something happen, but Envy just goes a little bit too fast. Clay with the drone in hand for United, trying to get this one in, and it's not going to go in for 2.
Oh my
so
God.
Close to putting in points.
How close was that? What a stop from Envy. I thought he was in for sure.
I thought it was just going to fall.
Or at least get a 1 point.
Yeah, at least get a 1 point.
How many times do you see that? They cut him down at the goal line. The drone still ends up falling through.
His jump must have just been off.
Yeah, I mean, the angle we had, it was tough to see if maybe he just missed to a side or the drone came out at an awkward angle.
You could always imagine. You see nice shots there from Apathy. Maybe he thought those guys were going to body block instead of just straight shoot and try to go around them. But, I mean, it's not work out there for eUnited. They don't get any points out of that. Their best scoring opportunity here in half number 1 thus far. Yeah, and again, I mean, the reason you have this opportunity is 2 kills from Apathy around mid-map, allows them to push forward, and they do turn it into a second point. Apathy right now 10-8. Slasher, your Envy MVP right now at 13-7. Overall MVP. I mean,
yeah,
he has just been so good throughout groups, and then now this weekend, he has really just been such a standout player. Extremely impressive display from Slasher in every game mode. See right here, well, it doesn't really show it there. Some awful shots, but Clay's able to pick him up. The drone, though, is still down. eUnited not been able to get any kind of offensive pressure outside of the 1 push where they don't get points.
This appears to be one of those low-scoring affairs. Hitting your 1 point shots, big defensive stands, going to be crucial for either side. JCap on the eUnited side of the map. He'll get tag teamed there by a combination of players to fall. Silly over the top. It's like every time you see 2 kills going for United, I feel like EnVy answers right back. You might have a chance to make a play. I think it's Arcity up on Cliffside, but as I say that, John's able to take him out. He takes out his brother as well. The twins drop by the errata John, and now you've got map control for EnVy.
It's just those clutch kills. The EnVy is picking up every single one of them. 2 from Cap, 1 from Apathy, and he's going to wrap this one. John's going to bring it back over towards Sub Bay because they have Apathy pushed up a little bit further. It'll be a 1-point play there for EnVy. They settle for that. And right now, I mean, that's all they need. With no pressure coming in from eUnited, you can see why they struggle on this map.
I mean, this has been perfect from EnVy. I know it's not a huge lead, but they've given up very, very minimal drone control to eUnited.
It's 2 possessions. It's enough.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, we'll see once we swap sides. Maybe a chance to get a first point on the board here for eUnited. Silly gets a pick. RC's forward. RC's does get it away. There's 1 on the board, and that's a big score for eUnited and a half, where they're scoreless to the final 5 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, now you're just 1 good break away for eUnited from tying this game up. All you need is a 2-point play. For a second there, I didn't think RC's got the throw off. From the POV we were watching, it looked like he dropped pretty quick, but gets the throw off, knocks down the 1-point play. See if eUnited can bounce back here in the second half to force a game 4.
They've got 5 minutes to try and stay alive. On board with Silly here early. RC's needs to step it up a bit for this team. He's been a fantastic player all year long, but 8-14 right now in this crucial game, and that's sort of what we talked about. This is not an easy map. If you're an AR player and you have to transition to a submachine gun, or hell, even running the AR on this map can be so tough at times. I know Silly, not exactly in love with the ERAD. He wants to use this K-bar, and I think that's what makes it even more tough on players like RC's and Clayster.
I think Silly plays at a very slow pace. I think having him with an ERAD in his hands just really feels uncomfortable.
But like, remember back to their week though, he was destroying with it. I mean, I think it was like precinct up late where he was mapping people.
With it, yeah. I mean, maybe it's just this map. You just don't feel comfortable. I mean, obviously the map's much different.
Well, I talked to Clay about it. He's like, hey, he just doesn't like running it on this particular map. But I think that, again, it puts teammates maybe in a tough spot.
Oh, I think without question it does. So you see EnVy trying to push this one in. Slasher drops. It'll be JCap and Apathy. Apathy picks up 2. Cap misses. Can Cap pick up another kill? Not going to be able to make it happen. We've seen so many times where they'll miss a 1-point throw, and then they'll follow it up with some kills and put it in for 2. And, right there, not able to make it happen.
Well, dancing on the wall run is Arcity's Pristini now. Trying to make a play as Apathy's just killed 2 of his teammates. As he falls, that was 3 down for United for a moment. Silly going to be the lone man here to hold Mbappe. He's doing exactly that. All 3 drop. Silly with a huge 2-piece. And now the problem is they couldn't get the drone forward for a moment because you still had Apathy in behind you. But the surge forward now does come in. right to John.
It's just so many 2-pieces. Like whenever United is getting the drone, they're moving up. We've seen so many. I think it's really just been John the most in the feed, and Apathy as well. Where eUnited, they're trying to push forward. You need to get that second wave of kills. The first guy on defense for EnVy always seems to go big, pick up those double kills.
Well, think how big the multi-kills were in the Frost uplink in the previous series. It seemed like every time you went to Formal or Scum, they were killing 2 or 3 players. It makes it so easy to get control and actually have offensive opportunities. Apathy now sitting at 22-19, finishes up the weak Silly with a headshot. 2:45 to play. And one of the more low-scoring games we've seen here. Apathy snapping right now. Drone in hand, tosses out to Cliff, so maybe his teammates can get up and make a play. The only one out there is going to be Slasher. Silly again with a nice kind of defensive stand towards mid-map. But Silly needs everybody else to get involved here. Here you go, you got a chance. RC's resetting. RC's very close to overdrive as well. Can they get one more on the board? Focus to Silly. He hits the backside, 2-3 game. This is going to be all payloads, man. Overdrive camo. Who gets the better of it down the stretch?
Yeah, so Silly, he has his payload ability. You see JCap on your screen has overdrive as well. You're going to see all these abilities come into play in the final about 1 minute and 30 seconds. So you see JCap with 1, Slasher with another. It's going to be Silly, the only one up here for eUnited. Everybody falls for eUnited. Let's see if EnVy, if you're EnVy, you just need the 1-point play here. You just need to extend it, give yourselves a little bit of a breathing room.
Well, I like the patience here. They didn't have the timing window to get an easy one. Everyone had come off spawn for eUnited. They try to wrap it back. but they need to find another wave of kills. Slasher pushing in. I think he splits between multiple players, lost them both for a second and dies. So eUnited gets away with one there. When you have 3 drop in research, more often than not, that's going to turn into at least a 1-point play. They're able to hold on.
I think Envy got a little bit too cute with it there, trying to bring it all the way back towards the other side. Maybe just get that 1-point play.
You know, it's tough to hit ones, though, from the cliff side of the map when you've got everybody up for the interception.
Well, no, I mean, they get 3 dead. You could have just wrapped it back out, hit that wall run on the outside, and just gotten the 1-point throw off. You most likely, you would have been, I know, timing-wise, been able to get it off before everybody came off spawn. But you know, with a minute to go, you have Envy in control of drone. It's going to be JCat falling. Now it'll be Slasher trying to follow it up. He falls as well. Silly with 2 more kills, as Silly has played quite well here in game number 3. eUnited down 1. They have FTL jump to work with, and you have R-Cities with overdrive as well.
I mean, Silly's been great, but when you talk about your typical AR players for this team, your strong points are Clayster and R-Cities. They have not been able to excel here with ERADs in hand. And now you get 3 down for their team. Drone back to Envy. 30 seconds on the clock. Slasher has camo. This could be it. Camo popped. Can they kill him? Is there a body block there? Nothing's hope. Dunk is through. 5-2 Envy. 20 seconds to go. That may very well have been the dagger.
It's a big play there from Slasher. First thing when I saw Apathy throw the drone forward, I was like, just get it into Slasher's hands. Just turn around, give him the drone as you see kills going down towards mid-map. 7 seconds left, Clint. It is all over.
Team EnVyUs guaranteed top 2 to play in the grand final with a hot 3-0 of eUnited. Wow, I mean, we came into the day expecting, I think, both these first 2 matches to be close. That is not what we got.
It's a big win there for Envy. Speaking a little bit with John and Cap, before I mentioned it, they did not expect to play that poorly in Respawns. They actually felt kind of fortunate that they got here with playing that poorly. And I think there's a lot of relief on those guys. It's like you come in, it's like, well, no, we don't expect to really play that great. We haven't been great in the Respawn so far this weekend. They showed up huge in that series, especially in that last Frost uplink. You saw Apathy and John pick up a lot of key kills.
I'll tell you what, if you're United, you're still in it. You still have to fight through the losers bracket final, a chance to get back into this. But I'll tell you what, we talked about it. Apathy, an absolute beast in that uplink, and we've got Apathy on stage. I want to hear about that win.
Thank you so much, Maven. Great cast to Mr. X as well. Apathy, though, you guys just 3-0'd the team that 3-0'd Optic Gaming last night. EnVyUs is going to the championship match. You're playing for that $200,000 first place prize. Tell me about this team, because coming into stage 2, you guys are coming off a career low, a 21st to 24th place at Anaheim. Now you're playing for first place. What has changed in the last month?
I mean, we've just been working harder, you know. We've been putting in a lot more time as a team and individually. We've been performing better due to that. And also, I feel like we just have more trust in each other again. You know, we kind of lost that trust. You know, we weren't performing. We were having bad plays, and just everything wasn't going for us. So we lost that trust, but we sort of built it back. You know, we boot camped, and it's been helping us. And
tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the team's play style, because coming into today, only Slasher, who's had an MVP-like performance, was positive. The other 3, you guys were a little bit down in the dumps. Today, you outslay United in both respawns. What did you guys change individually?
I mean, we talked about it yesterday. You know, we did see the KDs, and Slasher's been performing amazing, and we're slacking. It's us 3 slacking, and we knew we had to pick it up. We talked about what we could do better, you know, just focus more on winning our gunfights and individual performance, and, you know, we've just been doing that.
You guys been looking like monsters in Search and Destroy, a bit of a change from the group stages. You are now going into a final best of 5. Potentially we'll see 2 series, but I know you guys want to get it done in that first one. Who do you want to match up against? It's going to be eUnited versus Optic Gaming playing for that second spot.
Whoever makes it to us.
Whoever makes it? Yep. Don't have any opinion here. Nope. He's ready for them both. Let's send it over to our desk. We got Benson and crew.
Thank you very much, Chris. Great to hear from Apathy from Team EnVyUs there. And boys, today, this is a weird one. I'm going to be honest. Envy just came out and looked phenomenal. I mean, breaking down the series, we'll start with map number 1. We'll get straight into it. I feel like this is the Envy that everyone has been waiting to see, right? Yep. Everyone has said, this team has so much potential, but we just don't get to see it. Oh, you know, they come off a career low placement, the lowest in the organization's history. Now they're playing for top 2.
Every single event, I thought it was Atlanta that they were really going to step up. There was an Atlanta where in the winners bracket semi, I believe they beat Optic, and I thought, okay, they're finally, they're back, they're together. and then they lost, 2 straight, and they finished 3rd. And then just every single event after that, they haven't improved at all. And you heard Slasher say it last night. We just have to believe in ourselves. I think everybody else believed in themselves. I think it was Slasher who didn't believe in the team. And you could tell just the difference of character he's brought to the stage, this weekend, how much it's just changed everything.
Yeah, he is basically running around with a cape. He is playing
not this game.
So unbelievably well. The entire event, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, overall. I think it's that. Yes, Slasher's performing individually just fantastic. But I think the vibe he's bringing to the team and the fact that Slasher's being the guy that's been that positive reinforcements on the team is not something we expect, to say the least. He's definitely the sort of negative Nancy at times when things aren't going well. But from the communication, it's like he's getting them fired up. He's like, Apathy, challenge that guy, take that guy out, get my trade, things like that, that really instill confidence into his teammates. And the fact that EnVy was able to keep all these series throughout the weekend so close while having those terrible KDs from the other 3 players, well, this is what happens when they get that well-rounded performance. The game looked very, very easy in game 1 for them.
And Phil, you obviously mentioned before we went to commercial break last time, kind of talking a little bit about the series. Oh yeah, the tweets about KD. It's weird what happens when everyone goes positive and you blow out a team like that.
Map 1, they outslay by, 15, 16? And for me as well, the one thing I did want to talk about, yes, KD, obviously very important. If you outslay, you're going to win. The percentages are, like 80% for Hardpoint, 91% for, Uplink itself. But I did want to talk about the 2 players that I wanted, to watch here. My picks were to kind of step it up was Apathy, and who impressed was Prestini. Complete roles reversed. Prestini, obviously, map 1, -10. Apathy, he really kind of, for me, came out his shell in this series alone. Yes, Slash has been dragging them through, and Slasher had another great series.
Very true.
But the other 3, I think, should take a lot of credit because John, Apathy, all of them, Slasher as well, and JCap, a lot of people kind of give him a lot of critique. They stepped it up here.
That was the big thing to me, the duo, the SMG duo between John and Apathy. How good they were last year. They were 2 of probably the top 5, top 8 players in the world. They would absolutely put so much pressure on the team. It would make, Slasher's life so easy. JCap just had to make the correct plays, which he always knows how to do. He doesn't make mistakes. He's that consistent player. But, I mean, just to get this SD, Slasher obviously 14-3, another MVP performance. EnVy, just their teamwork on point.
You talk about JCap making the correct plays. I think one of the key rounds was round 7. Clay gets a miraculous double kill out of absolute nowhere, stops Slasher from getting fully streaked out. And you're thinking, okay, this is winnable. Cap, who was, I think, at 0-5, maybe even 0-6 at the time in a 1v2 situation. And he clutches it. And it's like he didn't even bat an eyelid. It was just miraculous to see. But, I mean, you look at their stats. 14-3 from Slasher, a 4.67, and for what I believe is the 3rd time so far this event, Teep, he's managed to get camo in round 5.
I don't understand. How is it possible? His average SD KD is gonna be what, a 3 more?
I don't know.
It's just unbelievable. He's getting double camo type games, but the game ends too fast for him to get that second one. Oh, Cap did get that 1v2, but him and Apathy were just kind of sitting back and relaxing because the fact that John, his snipe's been extremely on point in general throughout the whole tournament. It's been impressive. He's, shutting down a player right away or just making the other team play so darn slow. Makes the other team not want to go middle map, not play the map the way that they want to. And they have to worry about Slasher dropping, I don't know, was he going to drop 20 next? How much better can this guy get?
Give him a 1v4. Why not,
just so confident in every gunfight. He just takes it. He knows
so
the angles that he has to take with the NV4, and he wins every single one.
So you make it sound so simple, Joe.
It's not, but he keeps doing it, He has these few little wall runs that he checks for middle map to help John and Apathy in the middle. He wins them, or he's putting shots down. It makes it easier for his team. He's just playing perfect Call of Duty right now.
And I think the way he makes it look so easy, he's in the right position. 95% of the time, positioning is key in Call of Duty. And, if you've got the better position, you've got the better angle, it makes it so much easier. But it's easy to look at, and it's like, oh, yeah, he's just picking up this kill and that kill. But he's getting in that position. He's thinking 5-6 steps ahead. But a great play again. But going into the uplink, this again, for me, this was the one map where I thought eUnited may struggle in the series, purely because the map and mode combined. But other than that, I didn't expect, a 3-0.
Well, going back to the group stage, this is one of the maps that they lost about and they just talked about. We don't really know how to perform, and the reason is RCDs right there are 0.55. The thing is you have to have 3 subs. So is Clay going to use an AR? Is RC's going to use an AR? So that's sort of where they struggle. Which one of those is going to have that weapon? Maybe they can run 2K bars. Maybe that just doesn't work. We're not too sure, but that's definitely just one of the map. Due to the team composition, it's just very tough for them.
Yeah, Frost is definitely that map where your sort of third, your hybrid, needs to be able to step up. And I feel like Frost, in specific for EnVyUs, Cap steps up with the sub very, very well with him. He's very good at it. Even going back to Ghost, Cap was pretty decent with the sub as well. So
EUNAW, yeah.
Clay and Arcides just can't seem to figure it out appropriately on Frost, who's going to be able to run it, first off, and number two, do well with it. So it's a huge problem on Frost for them.
Momo, you made this point in the green room while that series was going on. If I had have said to you yesterday, or you'd have said to me, oh yeah, tomorrow, don't worry about it, man. You know, Optic Gaming, they're going to 3-0 LG, and EnVy's going to 3-0 eUnited.
My words were, I would have put $1,000 on this not happening. Like
I would have taken that bet in a heartbeat.
3-0, 3-0.
This is a fast championship, son.
and I honestly, the way it worked out, you know, it would have been roles reversed. I thought LG was going to take over Optic. I thought eUnited was going to come out and take, you know, EnVy potentially in 3 or 4 maps, judging by that uplink. But I just love the fact, again, I said it after Series 1, we have 4, 5, 6 teams here now. Maybe more who can win champs. Like, who's going to win the playoffs? Who knows? That's the exciting bit about watching this.
That's so true.
Previous years, we've had that 2 teams, maybe the favorite and the one that can challenge them. Now, it's all up for grabs, baby.
Obviously, you talk about COD champs. We will have our live group draw for the Call of Duty World Championship following the conclusion of today's grand final. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But, of course, moving forward, up next, now we have Optic Gaming versus eUnited. And I ask you guys this pretty much every Championship Sunday, but I think it's important for the newer viewers, of course. When we get to losers bracket final at this point, you have one team that's just come off a win, one team which has just come off a loss, especially when you consider it's a 3-0 win and a 3-0 loss team. I mean, momentum, it has to play a part.
Oh, 100%. And going through a loser bracket run, the matches seem to get easier and easier. It's kind of weird to say because your competition is technically getting harder. You're playing teams that have done better throughout the rest of the tournament. But when you just have that momentum, and especially for Optic, that hurdle, Scump said it in the interview earlier, LG is that team for them. That's the rival team that they worry about playing against throughout every single tournament. They got over that biggest hurdle for them. So I just see them completely cruising to the grand final, to be honest.
Yeah, the other thing for me is if you're Optic Gaming, you don't want to wait very long in between series. Well, eUnited, they got 3-0'd very fast. Optic is very excited for that. You know, if eUnited, if they win a map or two, it goes to a game 5, they lose to EnVy. Sure, their shots are probably warmer. Optic's been in the back for about an hour. You know, they're going to cool off, but it was about, what, like 28 minutes ago. These guys were just on the stage beating Luminosity. So this is exactly what you want if you're Optic.
And again, the kind of comment you touched on, Ben, one's off 3-0 win, one's off 3-0 loss. These guys played yesterday. eUnited, they were throwing up the 3-0 sign. They were getting in their heads.
Yeah, glad you made
and it's, you need to remind yourself of how badly eUnited beat Optic. But today, Optic looked like a different team. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw another 3-0 here from Optic Gaming, judging by how they're playing. The one thing that I do want is I wrote it down. My first note I put on that previous series was Clay was getting hyped when they were 136 to 67 down. And I was like, okay, he's still in there. He's still getting his head. They need to... I don't know. I feel like eUnited need to get a lead in the hard point and start getting hyped.
That's the thing to me is the energy, right? Every time Clay or Arcides would get hyped, EnVy would shut it down right away. Where is that extra kill that gives eUnited map control? It wasn't there. EnVy did a great job of shutting it down.
Of course, yesterday in the series is where Arcides almost headbutted his monitor, if you remember. He gets a 3-piece. But to talk a little bit about the series, last time we saw it was a eUnited 3-0. Map 1, 250 to 239. It was unbelievably close. Map 2, round 11. And the uplink was 8-4 as well. It was pretty back and forth for the most part. Now, a quick look at our maps for the series here, Teep. I mean, how do you see this one going?
Optic wants this revenge, I think. People have been doubting them for quite a while now, not getting the placings that these players feel that they deserve, obviously. So, man, Optic Gaming seems to be cruising. That LG win's going to just give them that confidence. 3-1 Optic.
Yeah, I think throw by hardpoint, right? This is where eUnited beat Optic, and you saw how they played. They rotated well to Barnhill.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see if Optic made those adjustments. And then map number 3, throw by uplink. Yes, eUnited won it yesterday, but it's also a map they feel that they struggle in at times. We'll see if it gets better. But, you know, if it goes that breakout hardpoint, that's where things are going to get intense. Those last games 4 and 5, I feel like that favors eUnited, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yes, we will. So far, Championship Sunday off to a fantastic start, but we still have 2 more games as we go halfway through Championship Sunday here at the Stage 2 playoffs. EnVy has has already booked their ticket into today's grand final. Up next, though, it's a losers bracket final time as Optic Gaming look for revenge as they take on eUnited once again.